With that, we've got today is an untimed circuit, which I have mixed feelings about, but I think we should do them every once in a while. So today is 20 reps of everything, 15 reps of everything, 10 reps of everything, and then 5 reps of everything. So just counting down by fives, 20, 15, 10, 5. The exercises, I put them in the chat. It's a slide reverse lunge. So you can, if you don't have a slider, that's no problem. You can do a just plain reverse lunge. But if you do have a slider or a sock on the floor or furniture slider or whatever, anything really works. So if you're doing a slide reverse lunge, you'll just be holding the weight. You can either hold it under your chin or down on the side that the slider is on. And we just slide back, tap a heel, and come forward. Okay, so if you don't have the slider, no big deal. We're just stepping back for a reverse lunge. Split up to 20 however you want. So obviously the 10 and 5, you probably won't have to split up, but for the 20, if you want to do 10, 10, 10, 10, then that's fine, whatever you got to do, or you can alternate the whole time. I'll leave that up to you. So reverse lunge is or slide reverse lunge is the first exercise. Second exercise is a push-up. All right, so again, modify those as needed. Number 3, SLDL. So we're hinging down just like that, holding the weight on the side that your leg is going back on. Rotational row. So usually we're just pulling like with your palm neutral, your palm facing your midline. But this time we're going to start with your palm facing out at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see my hand, but your palm will face out. And then when you come up, you'll rotate the weight and your palm will face in. So it's out, in, out, in. Okay, so as you go, you're rotating your hand. Right, so that's all the rotational part means there. Finally, lateral bound. So it's a step or a hop side to side. So it's either a step, jump, however far you want to go. The reps are a little high for that, but I wanted to do something moving laterally. Okay, so reverse lunge, push up, SLDL, rotational row, and then lateral bound. So 5 things to do. And with that, I'll pick you guys up on the roller. And we'll roll for about 1 or 2 more minutes here. If you have any questions, just shout them out. But I guess my hang up with the untimed circuit is that we all end up finishing at different times, and you know, it's a little bit harder to coach or to talk because you don't know where anybody is really. But I'll get over it for the day. I think it's good sometimes just to push your own pace. So that's what we'll do today. Let's make sure you're rolling the front of your legs also. We've put a big emphasis on that lately, especially all the way up to your hip flexors. So all the way up to where your hip plugs into your muscles plug into your hip. And let's take 20 more seconds. All right, good. So let's start warm up on your back. You're gonna give your knee a hug. So we bring one knee in nice and close to your chest. Keep it close to your chest as you push your heel through the floor. So we're starting to use your cheek here. It's not about how high you press. So you're not trying to reach your knee up for the sky. We're just keeping that thigh close to your chest and pushing up with whatever hip range of motion you have. And let's go to the other side. Just grab the other leg, pushing your heel through the floor. Thank you. Thank you. That's good. All right. Good. Let's go bottom of your feet up towards the ceiling. We're just going to give one leg or pull one leg back towards you for a hamstring stretch. Drop that other leg down. So let's keep one with the hamstring stretch on, and then you're just going to work the other leg. Trying to touch the back of your knee to the ground each time you go down. Getting that good hamstring stretch with the leg that you're holding. And let's switch sides. That leg that you're stretching, try to pull your toes back toward your chin. Feel a lot more of a stretch down that, down the back of your leg. All right, good. Let's come up to seated position. And then we'll turn one hip in, one hip out. So we're sitting, trying to get two cheeks to the floor. You should have one shin across in front of you, the other shin going behind you. All right, so one hip is in, one hip is out. Take a second, try to get both cheeks to the floor. I can't show you what that looks like because I can't do it. All right, now we'll take your chest and go forward over your forward leg. So we're trying to get both elbows to the floor. If you need more of a stretch, you can move your foot forward, right? So if your heel is really close to you, you may not get much rotation on your thigh, but the more you move your heel away from you, the more rotation you'll get. We want to try to get even pressure through both elbows into the floor. And good, let's go ahead and switch sides. We'll take a second here before we go over the front. Take a second, try to get both cheeks to the floor. You should be feeling a stretch in your hip here. No stress in your knee or anything like that. All right, let's go over that front leg. Take your elbows to the floor. Your knee should be right under your chest. And we try to press into the floor with both elbows. And good. All right, let's roll right to a push-up position. Bring one foot up next to your hand. So we're looking for your shin being vertical, straight up and down. Back knee is going to stay off the floor here. We're going to open up, rotate towards the ceiling. Try to stack your shoulders right on top of each other as you open up. As you reach down, as you go down to the floor, try to reach your elbow for your shoelaces. And you may not get there, but we want that little stretch at the bottom too. All right, go ahead and switch sides. We'll hold the stretch. And then let's rotate fingertips up towards the ceiling. Then you reach your elbow down to the floor. And good, once you're done there, we'll go ahead and stand up. And just to get moving here, let's just go 15 bodyweight squats, working your way into it. Okay, so your first one doesn't need to be all the way down. You're just focusing on spreading that floor part with your feet. So if you were standing on a mat like this, you'd be trying to pull or stretch the mat in between your feet. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. Okay, so pick a weight. Obviously, this can be body weight also, the lunges and all of that. So it depends on how you feel, but we're going 20 to start with. We're going to do 20 of everything, and then go back up and do 15 of everything, 10 and 5. Okay, so I am going to start a clock just to count. We'll just count up and see where we end up. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started with 20 slide reverse lunges, or if you don't have a slider, just a reverse lunge. In 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Remember, if you're holding the weight down low, the weight's going to go on the same side as the slider. This gives you a good chance to focus on keeping that front leg pressed into the floor. Your heel's going to be down as well. All right, after the reverse lunge, we got push-ups. With the exception of the lateral bounds at the end, we're almost always going to go lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, and then the jump at the end. All right, so pick whatever variation of a push-up you need, whatever works for you. SLDL is next. Keeping that leg nice and stiff with a little bit of knee bend to help you balance. Make sure you're shifting your weight backwards so that the weight gets nice and close to your shin or even right next to it. So if you're finding the weight dangling out in front of you, you're probably not pushing your hips back far enough. especially near the end, start to check in. Make sure your back toe is pointing down towards the floor. The row is next. So if you have a couch nearby or a chair, you can put your non-working hand on that just to prop yourself up. If you're out in space, you can either put a hand on your knee or go with no hand. That's going to make your hips pretty tired. So remember, rotating that hand, your palm should face out at the bottom and in as you come up towards your ribs. Upper body posture, okay, you should be nice and long from the top of your head through your tailbone. Don't let your head and shoulders round forward. So we're almost thinking about tucking your chin down, keeping that double chin, and keeping the back of your head up towards the ceiling. Lateral bound is next if you're ready to move on. So we're stepping or hopping from side to side. And that's going to be 20 each way. Landing is most important here. So focus on a good solid landing. All right, we're about 8 minutes in here. Obviously, all the other sets won't take quite that long. So we're working our way down to 15 now. we go from lower body to upper body. So we've got push-ups next. Back to lower body, SLDL comes next. Sometimes the 15s feel worse than the 20s, just because you've already got some fatigue setting in, but there's still a lot of reps to do. But for me, mentally, after you get past the 15s, it's downhill slide. Oh yeah, good point. Okay, remember, once you're done with the row, finishing up with lateral bounds. Especially as you get more tired, really focus on the landing, making sure your foot is set well. And using your leg like a spring to absorb the landing. Okay, we're at 14.5 minutes. Again, time isn't really a concern. Just giving you an update. Just checking in, see where you guys are. Okay, working our way into 10s. If you're somewhere close to me. SLDL, then row, then lateral bound. Girls are working out at home. On the SLDL, do your best to keep your belt buckle square with the floor. So when you get to the bottom, you may need to drop that hip, which usually rotates up. So you got your belly button pointing straight at the ground. Time check, just 18.5 minutes. So we're on pace for a usual 22 to 25 minute workout. Wrapping up the 10s with a lateral bound. And we're right at 20 minutes, heading into the last round. Fives will go fast. Make sure form comes first as you're wrapping up. Don't rush to get through. Make sure they all look good. Okay, I see some people who are either done or fell down. Not sure. This is one of the rough parts of these kinds of circuits, that I can't quite tell if you're done or not. Kelly, give me a thumbs up. What are you feeling there? All right, good. Pretty sure everyone beats me. It's because I'm trying to keep it slow, you know? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's probably it. Looks like Carol jumped off. Thanks for joining me, guys. Again, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, if you are so inclined. Otherwise, have an excellent Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, Brian.
Thanks. We'll see you, Kelly.